I was alone when she appeared, not alone in the literal sense. There were over 200 souls aboard the diplomatic vessel Persephone Rising, each one handpicked to represent Earth's finest minds, virtues, and flaws. But in the vast quiet of the starboard observation deck, I had the solitude I needed. Starlight filtered through the reinforced view glass like silver veins, casting patterns over the navy blue of my uniform. Then, without a sound, she was there. At first, I thought my mind was playing tricks on me. After weeks of deep space and alien bureaucracy, hallucinations weren't uncommon. But she didn't flicker. She didn't vanish. She stood with a kind of unsettling grace, her long copper hair cascading over armor so intricately forged it could have been grown, not built, and her ears long pointed, with the elegance of ancient Earth mythology, twitched slightly in the artificial gravity. "You're the only one who can see me," she said. I didn't speak right away. My training told me not to respond to the strange or the impossible, but curiosity, like gravity, pulls even the most rational minds. "Why?" I asked. She smiled, and it struck me like a tuning fork hitting bone. Too perfect, too warm, for something so alien, because you already touched the rift. We called it the Rift Corridor, a slipstream of folded space that connected our solar system with the Trinary Accord, an alliance of 3 ancient alien civilizations whose technology made ours look like stone tools. Earth had only just received a seat at the table, contingent on observation and restraint. No wars, no planetary exploitation, no interference with rift-bound species, and definitely no unregistered crossings. "I'm not supposed to be here," she continued, stepping closer. "But you're the last one who remembers what it felt like, the moment your ship was lost in rift space during the Cliven skirmish." I tensed. That was 10 years ago. A brief, brutal conflict that ended as fast as it started. My shuttle vanished into a rift anomaly for 7 minutes. When I came back, they said I'd suffered oxygen deprivation, hallucinations, temporal confusion. But I never forgot what I saw in those minutes. "Who are you?" "My people don't speak names the way you do. You may call me Elvara." The word hummed in my mind, not just sound but sensation, like tasting a star or remembering a song from childhood you never learned. Elvara was not one of the Triner species. Her race, the Ilyari, had been erased from the Accord's records, classified as myth. According to her, they were the first to map the rift, before they were betrayed, hunted, and exiled into non-space. "How are you here now?" I asked. She turned, staring out at the stars. "Because someone in your delegation has opened a rift beacon, a call to something they do not understand." My blood ran cold. Only Accord ships could legally access rift space. Earth had no right to even attempt it, let alone summon what lay beyond. "You're saying someone on this ship has already crossed the threshold," she finished. "They opened the door, but what walks through will not stop with your species." I thought of the envoy team, ambassadors, scientists, strategists, and Captain Morel, ambitious, brilliant, ruthless. If she thought she could gain an edge, she wouldn't hesitate to use forbidden tech. "What do you need from me?" I asked. Elvara stepped closer, her eyes shimmering with a light that was reflected. "I need you to remember what you saw in the rift 10 years ago, before it's too late." The memories came not as visions, but as sensations, falling through colorless sound, tasting geometry, feeling thought as gravity. And in the center of it all, something watching me, not hostile, not benevolent, just aware. I had buried it for years. Every psyche val, every debrief, I lied, said I remembered nothing. But now, as Elvara placed a palm to my forehead, it came rushing back. The entity, not a god, not machine, but a being so vast it used time as a sense in physics as breath. It had noticed me, and I had survived only because it allowed me to. "You were marked," Elvara whispered. "A seed was planted in you. That's why only you can hear me now. That's why you must act." We made our way through the lower decks undetected. Elvara walked without sound, her form flickering slightly at the edges, half in phase, half out. I used my officer's clearance to access the ship's secure systems, tracing energy signatures from Rift tech sources. There it was, unauthorized Rift mapping software running on a private server in Captain Morell's quarters. I confronted her. "You have no idea what you're doing," I said, hand hovering over the emergency lockout control. She didn't even flinch. "That's where you're wrong. The Accord keeps us weak, petty, dependent. The Rift is the only true path to freedom. You'll bring back something we can't contain. I'll bring back something they'll fear." That was when Elvara stepped through the wall. Captain Morell gasped, stumbling back. "She's real." "Ilyari," Elvara said simply, "the first and last Riftwalkers." Without another word, she raised her hand. A soft hum filled the air, then silence. Morell collapsed, unconscious but alive. The Rift beacon deactivated. I stared at Elvara. "What did you do?" "She won't remember. Not fully. A fragment, perhaps, of ambition dulled. She will live, but never open that door again." We stood again at the observation deck. "The entity you meant the Rift," she said, voice gentler now. "It still watches, but because of your choice, it will not awaken. Not yet." I looked out at the stars, feeling their cold distance like never before. "So what happens now?" "I go back, and you forget me." "What?" "You were the key, but keys are not meant to stay in the lock." My throat tightened. "I don't want to forget." She smiled, sad and warm and impossibly ancient. "Then remember this. There are things we're protecting that no one will ever see. And sometimes, those who save the world never hear the applause." She faded like morning mist under sunlight. No dramatic portal. No farewell speech. Just absence. That was 6 months ago. No records remain of Captain Morell's Rift experiment. Official reports cite a radiation leak and memory instability across several decks. I didn't correct them. I returned to Earth, retired early, and never applied for another off-world mission. But sometimes late at night, I sit outside and stare at the stars. And I remember the elf who wasn't an elf, the whisper in the rift, the door that was never meant to open, and the hand that kept it closed.